Right, welcome, ladies and gents, to another episode of Fit Beyond 40. This is actually take two because me and Ryan have already done a take. This is Ryan, and he's going to come on and talk about. We're going to talk about fishing. And listen, before you all switch off, start thinking, what is boring and it's not all that, and you're not into it. Listen, fishing, when it comes to being outdoors, when it comes to mental health, has done wonders, and we can talk to Ryan. It's proven, yeah. And we can talk to Ryan and see what happened during COVID when people were going through stuff, that fishing lakes were still open. And there's also a guy up in Rochdale, I don't know him, I've heard of him, who has a charity, who led the research. I think his charity is called Tackling Minds. Great name, by the way, fishing related. And he, I think, along with another university, done the research. And since 2022, I believe, the NHS now recognise fishing as a form of therapy for people struggling with addictions, PTSD, mental health. So there is some proven results that come from fishing.
I think what they worked out was the prolonged doing something for a long period of time.
Okay.
Was the help,
What's
instead of just doing things for a couple of hours, like we talked about before, the football matches, golf, 3-4 hours. Whereas fishing, you're switching off to everything
for a long period,
12 to 24, sometimes 48 hours.
Right, okay.
And so I think that was the thing that was helping.
So having your mind occupied for a greater period of time. So before we delve really deeply into fishing and the positives and what that can do for our mental health.
Half your viewers are just switched off.
They've all switched off. I know there's about 2 of you listening. But let's find out, first of all, how Ryan got into fishing, why he got into fishing, and when he got into fishing. Let's get some background here.
So, I think a lot of lads, when I was young, my dad took me down the canal. Okay. Me and my brothers, and he probably didn't do much fishing because he was too busy untangling all our knots and whatever. But just starting on the canals, 5-6 years old, going with my dad, my brothers, catching loads of little uns and stuff, and you kind of progress from there. My older brother never really switched on. He liked his fishing, but he kind of moved away from it.
What kind of? This is probably the subject I know least about when it comes to like hobbies and sports and stuff. So if you're fishing in a canal, what kind of fish?
That's coarse fishing.
What kind of fish are you likely to catch? What are we talking?
There's a really good mix of fish in the canal. You can catch anything you want.
Right.
Depends what you're going for. You've got predator fishing in the canal, perch and pike, and there's even zander in some canals. But it's mostly the little roach and little rudd and stuff. When we was kids, we'd go and catch loads of them, just on, I say loads of them, pure of them. And you just try to float down the canal, and there's something about just watching a float, just that you're not thinking about nothing else. Everything you've done up to that point has been you set your rod up. You got there, you got all your equipment that you got for Christmas or whatever it was, a new reel and all that, and you're buzzing, and you get down there and it's early morning, and that's another thing, the fishermen, they're up early.
Okay.
There is a lot of, fishermen that will just go whenever they want, but when you're kids, you're buzzing, you're up early, all your mates, you're on your BMXs, rod strapped to the bike, you know what I mean, and you get your maggots from down the shop, and you go down there and you sit by a bit of water, a canal, a little lake, a pond, and it's brilliant.
So what kind of age were you then?
I started with me dad probably about 6 and 7.
Oh, that young?
Yeah. He'd take us down the canal, and then you start at junior school, and your mates start going on about fishing, and I want to go fishing, and then all of a sudden you get a little group, and off you go with your mates, and you do a little bit at the weekend and stuff, And I was always mad for it. A couple of my mates, we'd go fishing, but I'd be doing all the setting up, I'd be doing check the tie and all the little rigs, and I quickly kind of excelled away from just the little, they call it noddy bashing, just flicking it out and catching little ones, and I wanted more. I wanted to go somewhere where the fish were bigger and stuff. Okay. And I'll never forget, we one day we just wanted to catch bigger fish. We'd heard about carp. I mean, we'll go into carp fishing later on, but the carp was the holy grail, you had loads of little ones, but they'd only grow like this big, maybe this big, a nice tench or something. But the carp, all of a sudden we heard about these, mythical carp, and they grew massive, giant, and we'd see all in the pictures in the papers.
I'm sure when you're a kid as well, how our mind works.
I mean, living in the Colne Valley where we was in Harefield, it's like the mecca of carp fishing, where it all started, Savay Lake. There's a few lads were down there, and they kind of designed some of the original stuff that is massive now, you know, the hair rig and, you know, just stuff like that. I'll keep it simple because a lot of people won't know what I'm on about. But they designed all that, and it just went from there. And they'd start catching £20 carp, £30 carp, and then you had other people that were fishing little ponds in the middle of nowhere that were catching these big fish. Chris Yates, his name is, a lot of people might know him. And he caught some really big fish in a place called Redmire and other places. And we was hearing these stories. And that's what it just spurred us on. I mean, a lot of my friends, they didn't really go into that. I remember there's a place called Savay and they had a little stock pond, and it was a big sign, no fishing, you know. And we were all little scrubs that we was. We went down there and we was catching up. We got a kick up the arse by the bailiff, you know what I mean, and thrown out over the fence again. But that was it. I mean, we hooked a couple off the top, and they were carp. They'd fight. They'd give you a good fight, and we was buzzing. So then it just went from there, really. And a couple of my mates, they went into other stuff, and I kind of went on joining clubs, fishing, and meeting other people that love their fishing.
So what kind of age did you first join your club then? Was that early as well? Because you fished with your dad?
No, probably mid-teens, something like that, yeah. Okay. And I'd start, I mean, I kind of fell out of fishing for a little while for obvious reasons when, you know, you're 14 to... Because
it's not cool.
20. Yeah, I had
other things that come apparent when you're a teenager and you're going, yeah, we all know.
Yeah, exactly that. So drink and, you know, what else. So we got into all that, but then I bumped into I started working with a guy, and a lot of the carp handlers will know him, Nick, and we started doing removals together, and he's absolutely mad for it. Like, he lives and breathes carp fishing. He's absolutely crazy about it, and he was going to come with me, and so I went down with him, and I remember fishing a canal with him, and we went down in just an afternoon, about 3-4 hours, and we caught 3 or 4 20 like big carp, you know what I mean, and I was like, this is it for me. This is what I want. Yeah.
Got the buzz back.
And I didn't even realise then how beneficial it'd be for my mental health, because you're that age, you not really got a lot going on. There are kids that age that have got stuff going on. I didn't. Do you know what I mean? So I was just being myself and just going out. But it's kind of fell really nicely into my 20s and stuff like that, where I really started fishing hard and looking for bigger fish, and then obviously the trials and tribulations of your 20s and early 30s and all the stuff going on, missus, married, kids and all that sort of thing, and it helped me massively. You know, I'd be doing, I don't know if the missus enjoyed it too much, but I'd do probably try and do 2 to 3 nights a week.
Wow. Okay.
And I'd get out, and it wasn't just the fishing. It was I'd go down there and I'd do a bit of pre-baiting. And
is that social?
Pre-baiting is you go down there and you'll find an area that you want to fish,
right?
And you'll put the load of bait out, and then you'll go down there a day later, and then you'll fish or 2 days later, whatever. And you can do it over a prolonged period, or you can just go down there and do it the day before. It's up to you, like. But just doing that, you go down there. A couple of the boys are fishing. They'll come round. You're baiting up. You have a little chat, maybe a beer, and the social side of it. So you're spending quite a lot of time down there. And I used to work hard. I mean, I was averaging 120 hours a week at one point, so doing every job I could ever get my hands on, you know. So finding the time to do it, it was about the family, always about earning money, always about the stress of having money, and it's you know what it's like. It's constant.
So fishing was a nice escape.
Constant.
From that, wasn't it?
As soon as I got in my van and drove up out to go down the lake, where am I going to go? Yeah. What part am I going to like? What area am I going to bait up? How much should I take? And
those worries almost go to the back now.
Straight gone. Yeah. And then as soon as you get back in your van and start driving home, you switch back into that mode of, you know,
everyday life and stress,
and the husband and you know, all that sort of thing. So it's really important. It was important for me at the time to have that release. I think everyone should have it, you know. I mean, the missus, she used to do the horse riding and stuff like that, and I'm sure for her, going to the stable, mucking the horse out was just as beneficial for her. Spending
time outside in
nature.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, it's nice to spend time together and go and do stuff together, go for walks and stuff like that. I mean, where I used to fish, once a week we'd walk around with the dogs, you know, and we'd do that together. But it's good to do stuff together, but it's also really good to do stuff on your own. And you know, the longer you can, I mean, there are guys that they started fishing and it completely ruined them because they've just completely isolated themselves from the world. Because it is so absorbing sometimes for people. Yeah. If you've got an addictive personality and the thrill of the chase, and the achievement that there is with catching these big carp, is massive for some people, and a couple of guys have lost their way with it.
Yeah.
But if you can find that happy balance, it's massive. Like we're going to talk about the mental health groups and stuff like that. I'll go into something else that we done a charity event. I can't remember what it was. It was a guy called Mark Cav who got me into it. He's a fireman, and he got me into it. And this charity match, we went up there, and it was for PTSD. So the whole of the guards section, I think it was guard section, or it was a section of the army, they'd created a carp fishing team for people with PTSD, because they'd realised the benefits of. Yeah. I mean, these guys, I've told you the story before. This one guy, we were all fishing, and we were all going around for a social, completely normal, chatting normal, no problem at all. And a grouse shoot came over a pheasant shoot came over the hill with the shotguns, and he hit the deck, curled up in a ball, and he was screaming for like 5 minutes, and you just had to let him get on with it. And that he was so, that was the effect it had on him. But when he went fishing, I mean, every day, can you imagine all the noises that would trigger him? Yeah. So when he was fishing, he was calm, and that was when he was normal. And the more he'd done of it, the better he was with dealing with the sounds and the bad stuff.
It's almost like gaining control back, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. I mean,
with your, let's just going to go back a few steps. With your, because you obviously joined the club in your teens.
Yeah.
Were you playing other sports at school in that time?
Yeah.
How do you, mainly football?
The football was a social thing. Okay. Like the lads done it. I enjoyed playing football. Yeah. So we played football, and it was that was the thing that everyone done. I know it sounds
we're in England, don't we?
Everyone played
football.
You don't go fishing in the playground. Yeah. So we talked about it, and we used to love going, but at school it was football, and that's where you see your mates mostly. I'm lucky I was in Harefield, and we were surrounded with water, lakes and rivers and ponds and stuff. So I mean, we used to go and do a little bit of ferreting and stuff like that when we was kids, like messing about. But the fishing, like my mate Wes, he used to love the ferreting and the shooting and stuff like that. And I used to go and I used to enjoy it, and it was part of my childhood, But I was always
towards fishing.
Yeah, it was always that for me.
With the other sports that you played at school, how do you think fishing differs? Like what like from playing football, there's a lot. The peace, the tranquility.
Yeah, like being out in nature.
I suppose that is even the closest thing is probably golf, but even golf can be noisy, couldn't it?
I know it's blood sport and whatever. Yeah. I know there's something with that. But when you're kids and you're out doing stuff like that, and you're learning to do stuff, and you're on your own and you're making decisions, and you're achieving something. I always say to my kids that as long as you achieve something every day, then you've done something. That is so good for your personal, like not just your personal development, but your personal mental health. To feel like you're achieving stuff every day, Now it ain't got to be everything. You get up and go for a walk. You've achieved something. You might find someone and have a chat with them. You've achieved something, And if you've got goals to do that day, do them. Yeah. Don't make no excuses.
Yeah,
it's important.
Yeah, I think we can. It's easy to make excuses, especially when you're going through tough times. It's easy to play a little bit of that victim card, isn't it? I'm feeling crap today. I'm not going to go to the gym. I'm not going to go for a walk. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. Yeah, and also the more you accept that, the more isolated you become, then the harder it becomes to break that habit.
Exactly.
Whereas sometimes, and that's why I'm a really big advocate of walking, because I feel like, I'll bang on about it all the time. People are probably bored, but it's free and you can do it straight out of your house. And you can choose how long it is. You can go for 10 minutes, you can go for 20 minutes, and you never ever see someone.
Fishing's the same, right? Football, not a lot of people will grab a football, go down the field and kick it around on their own. So you kind of need other people to play. Like with fishing,
it's a group
you've got everything. At any time, you can just go, right, throw your gear in the van and off you go. Okay. And you can go fishing for the night. And you can get away, whatever's going on, any stresses and stuff, you can just get yourself away from it. And it's important. We went on about the fishing stereotypes early on when you just started. And a lot of people are, fishing, that's boring. Yeah.
But that's the point.
But it's the calm, and then all of a sudden that bang, excitement, and it goes from 0 to 100. And there's guys that fish on my back. We'll go into my lakes in a minute that I run. But there's guys that fish there, and they're so passionate about their fishing, and they wait so long to catch a big carp out of my members lake, which is there's some good fish in there. Their knees are shaking. They're playing fish and they're shaking and they can't speak. and it's like
because they're so into it.
Yeah, it's almost like someone walking out in the cup final. You know, for them, it's the same achievement. So, I mean, scales. It's all relative.
Do you think? Do you think the boring side? Do you think the boring? I mean, as I get older, I become more open to everything. I feel like the things I probably wouldn't have done when I was younger, I would do now. Peace of mind, tranquility, being out in nature more and more and more. You know, giving up the luxuries as a kid.
You crave knowledge when you're young.
Yeah, and also, you know, the generation, what was it, the Super Nintendo, the Mega Drive, you want to play with the kids.
Yeah.
And you want to play with your mates come around and that's all gone like kind of flipped, doesn't it now? Because it's all online, so you don't get that social aspect of it. So like the kids now...
The bedroom full of kids playing Paperboy and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
Like
so that was the best thing. You had one Game Boy between 10 of
you. The thing
but now the social aspect's gone because it's all online, so you don't get that face-to-face
I see it, my boy, he's in his room with headphones on.
Yeah, so now do you think?
To all his mates.
So now, do you think it's a bigger reason to go into something? Look, I'm going to use the word boring. I know fishing ain't boring, but because Ryan mentioned it,
I would say boring. You can say boring because boring's good. Okay. Like, boring's good because it gives you time. So like sitting indoors reading a book is boring, but what it does for your mental health is great.
It is great. So do you think that's why people almost are fearful? Because we've got everything on demand now. You've got your computers, you've got your Netflix, you can have your food delivered to your house now. You don't even need to get out there and go shopping. So you can literally be isolated in your home and do all these things and keep yourself occupied and not deal with any challenges that come your way.
Yeah, and I think it's a misinterpretation that carp fishing is just a lot of sitting around. I mean, there are guys that will throw their rods out, they'll sit there all day and night and leave them. Yeah. But if you watch some match anglers, the British, like there's guys called Wayne Mansford, Ryan Need, and there's people like that, the Greening brothers, that they don't. It's not boring. They're constantly thinking their arse off for 48 hours, absolutely graft.
But I'm saying, as an amateur, don't you think that boring, like if you're going through stuff, is what you need?
It's what you take out.
It almost forces you to deep breath back, sit down. Now, what am I doing? What am I going through? I can't preoccupy myself with any of this stuff now. I need to actually sit down and think about the issues that happen in my life. I need to challenge them and deal with them head on. Or
it's not. I don't feel like it's that.
Okay.
I don't feel like I go fishing and I sit there thinking about all my problems.
No, but I was saying, do you think?
I'll switch off.
Do you think other people are put off maybe by fishing because it's a period where you might not be doing anything, that they're fearful that they might actually have to think about the things that are going on in their life?
There is a possibility that people think that, but I'd say to you, go and try it. Yeah. Go and try it. You haven't got to spend a lot of money. If you've got any friends that do it, go with them.
Mate, to be fair, that's a great show. We talked about that last time. If you know someone who fishes, just go and jump on, mate. And you know what I mean?
He'll have 3 rods. Say your mate can have 2 rods. 8 rods yours. Yeah. So if that one goes, I'll say, can I set it up? Show me how to set it up, and you'll set it all up. You'll get all your little PVA bag, or you get your boilie on, and you'll flick it out, cast it out. You'll set it, and you'll sit there, and you'll watch that rod. Yeah. And you won't think about nothing else. You also
get time to have a chill mag with your mate and meet new people as well.
Barbecue,
it's so easy to talk to newer people. Yeah. What is the? I mean, I've been to your lakes before, but I've obviously not fished there. No. But what's the environment and kind of the culture and also almost the feeling of swims? Are they quite friendly to new people, or are they quite kind of boxed in and if you're local or if you're a regular goer?
We've got a lot of local lads that come down. Okay. It was a lot of that to start with. The name's starting to get out a little bit now. Okay. So we're getting a lot more variety of people coming down. It's a very laid back place. I mean, it's like me. I mean, I'm happy if everyone else is happy. Yeah. You know, obviously there's some stuff. It kind of breeds respect. That's the right word. It kind of brings respect because it's so laid back, and I let people be adults. You hang yourself. If you're going to leave litter and that, I'll dig you out, and you're going to find out about it. But I don't walk around. I don't tell people. I don't bring no rules to them. I just let them get on with it. Yeah, people like that. People like to go fishing, and they don't want people constantly looking over their shoulder. And it's a friendly atmosphere. Okay. People that come down there, they're not. There are a group of anglers that are quite hardcore in their carp fishing, and it can be quite territorial. There are lakes around the valley that these people go to, and they're great lads, all of them. But they're focused so hard. They don't want the big social side around them.
Okay. I get that.
And there are places you can go, like my back lake, where you can just get away from it all, and you can focus on your fishing, and you'll be left alone, and you can be hardcore about
less of a social.
That's
fish.
a step up. But my front lake, which is the day ticket one, lads just come down. They'll bring their kids. You know, it's not. There's places like Farlow's and Forney, and there's other lakes around that you can fish, and that can be quite hardcore. And they do. There is a social side to it, but it's the kind of place you'd go if the next level from my front lake. This is the front lake is the kind of place you come where you just want to go with your mate, you know what I mean, and have a weekend with a barbecue and you can use the calf. We've got a calf there as well. The calf delivered to the swims, and you can use that. And they'll sit there and have a couple of beers. They'll get a little fire pit out, and then they'll be sitting. I love that. I walk around the lake, and everyone's chill. Come over, right? I come and have a beer, like you know. And I love that. And there's never any trouble. Never.
Okay. That's brilliant, mate, to hear.
Never.
Let's touch on COVID, because during COVID, I know it seemed a long time ago, but it was only 4 years ago. But actually, fishing was one of the things that was allowed to remain open, wasn't it?
Yeah, they did.
And why was that? Do you think? And also, what benefits do you think that gave the people who made use of it?
People were crying out to do stuff. People felt trapped that they couldn't go and, you know, so people were looking for a reason to get out. I don't know how that links. I mean, the only guys that would have gone fishing were the guys that fished before.
Fished anyway.
Okay. So I'm not sure how it helped everyone, but you know, if you was a carp angler and that's the kind of thing you enjoyed, and you had a get out, you know, and you could get out and you could go and spend a few hours at the lake, which was massive for a lot of the lads. You could spend a day there. So because it wasn't just a 2 hour thing, I can't remember how it worked. It was like 2 hours. You had to be in. You could go somewhere as long as you was back within a certain time. But we even skipped that.
Okay.
So we could take the lake bookings, and everyone would turn up, and we'd stagger it. So everyone turned up separate. All the swims were separate enough, so you didn't have to interact with each other.
Else.
So we barriered it all off, and everyone turned up, fished, and then everyone went at the end of the day. You know.
Did you speak to? Obviously, you still see those regular people who fish before and after during that period. Now, if someone who's regularly fishes at your lakes, who's used to being out in nature, who's used to having that tranquil time, you know, used to fishing, and now is suddenly locked up and being told they can only go out of their house for a walk.
The free spirits carp anglers.
What was the feedback from a lot of them? Were they really struggling? Were they struggling more than the average person because they spend that time in nature every week?
Well, the lakes were rammed.
Okay.
Because
that's probably just a physical show of what was happening. People were eager to get out, scratching.
I'm not sure how beneficial it was that stress-wise.
Okay.
Because it was a little bit more stressful because they
for you,
get on. Me,
and them as well. For them as well. Okay.
It was mad. The organisation with it all, because we had to do it properly. I mean, the government gave us guidelines that we could open, but it had to be measured, and it had to be controlled, and it had to be done right. So you could just have a load of people turn up at the gate, sitting outside the gate in the morning, waiting to come in.
Wow.
So we had to stagger every single person that came by an hour.
Right.
So
gives them enough time to get in, set up, move out of the way, and not see anyone else.
And you get them to their swim, and then the next one to come in. So I can't even remember how long it was now. How long did it go on for?
Well,
literally every day. Every day was just a couple of months. That lockdown was a couple of months.
Yeah, I think it started in March, went to the summer, then things eased off a bit. Then it come back at Christmas again, and then the following.
And obviously, we had to do all payments through through
card payments.
Yeah, because you couldn't take cash.
So they're trying to move away from cash, weren't they?
Yeah. So it was mad times. But I don't really know the effects it had on people. After, not really, a lot of people talked about it, but when we was there, people was like, oh, "Isn't it nice to be out?" It was that general consensus from people, you know, like they just wanted to be out and they wanted to be doing stuff. Yeah,
mate, I saw something last week. I was knocking on a bit of research, trying to do some pre-reading for this episode because, as I said, I don't know a lot about it. And there was a bit where research was done for 2022, because I don't think the 2023 figures are out yet. Only 41% of Brits spend at just 15 minutes outside a day.
Wow.
How mad is that?
Wow.
15, that's so nearly half of the population.
I'd say mine's the other way around.
Yeah, but I would say mine's a lot, but only nearly half of the population spend only 15 minutes outside. That is insane, isn't it? And then, you go back to our I don't know, prehistoric kind of brain, which still bits of it exist, where we want to be outside and we want to be in nature.
There's a link massively. It's been proven.
And now what we do is we live in houses, we travel around in boxes with wheels, and then we go to work in boxes. You know what I mean? So, and it's no
and they
wonder
why people have
are
social
struggling.
Problems.
Yeah, no wonder why people are
anxiety
struggling.
and stuff.
Anxiety, you know, all the other stuff that comes with it, the loss of probably social communication skills, everything.
If you walk along a towpath on a canal, yeah, you can be in your own little bubble. You're outside, and people will come and go, and you can say hello.
Yeah.
You know, there's no pressure to going on to the anxiety, the social anxiety, and people getting, you know, that sort of thing. There's just you can get outside and you don't have to be around loads of people.
Yeah.
You don't have to walk down the high street and to the shops. I mean, you can do that.
Mate, you can do it. I'll go for a walk early doors. I don't see anyone. You go for a walk
every morning.
You go for a walk at 5:45, 6 a.m. You don't see a lot of people.
No,
Some of the parks don't open till 7 a.m.
Yeah.
So if you want to go out and you're anxious about being in crowded places and don't want to see loads of people, go out in the morning, stick your cap on, and you know, stick your ear pods on if you want. This is the thing with
fishing. You know, you can be very social with it, or you can be like going back to the hardcore guys. You can be very social, or you can be focused and do your own thing.
Fishing, it sounds like it's a very you've got your own community.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of kind of bitchiness between some. I mean, social media blows up sometimes because someone does something. It's crazy. It's crazy, but I always say to everyone, just. Like bait boats shouldn't be allowed. I don't know if you know about bait boats. There's little things to drive at.
Yeah,
that sort of thing. You should be able to use them. Like if you enjoy going fishing and using a bait boat, use it.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the problem? Use it. I know there are problems with safety, and that's down to the waters to bring rules in to stop them. Okay. But if someone likes it, I mean, who cares? You know what I mean?
Do what you enjoy.
If you want to go and you want to cast your rods out and put an aerial outside your bivvy and put the telly in there and watch Coronation Street, crack on. You're just getting away from the old lady and you just want to have a bit of time with yourself. Yeah, it's fine.
Do
if you want to be hardcore and you want to use all that and you want to mark up and you use your... Do that. Yeah. As long as you're happy. You know?
I've touched on the community side because I think that's what is now in society why we're seeing loads of problems is because the community's just disappeared. You know, I was talking
and tackle shops. I mean,
just the community in general. Like,
just all be in the tackle shop in Harefield, chatting.
You go back to like the days where this was a mining country up north and stuff, and you see how much the communities they've done for each other. Everyone knew their name, even like. No, not even that long ago. 30 years ago, everyone knew their neighbours. Everyone knew who they were. Yeah. You'd look out for each other. If someone didn't have their post or parcel, you'd do that.
Say a little community.
And everyone would look after each other. And we become so isolated within our own houses that we've kind of lost that.
100%.
And we've lost the communication. And I think that's why you see a lot of anxiety, a lot of loss of social communication skills and stuff. As people, so I mean, again, going back to like the computers for kids. You know, you wanted to play Mega Drive or Super Nintendo, you'd have to have lads around. Yeah. Now you can do it online, so you don't have to see anyone. Yeah. You know, and once you're 18, who's going to tell you can't do it? You know, you could literally come in from work, sit on your computer online, and do that till you go to bed. Get up in the morning, go straight to work. It's insane, isn't it?
It's got like little rooms and that.
It's insane. I feel sorry.
But going back to the tackle shops and stuff, you know, a lot of them are shutting down because there's this. And it's a shame, really. Because
is that because of the online business?
Yeah, exactly. The online shopping and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, Harefield Tackle, they're brilliant. They're great. She's Leanne up there. She's kind of gone into the online shopping as well. So she's ticking
off for both.
But it's so nice to have. Like going back to the tackle shop thing, we'd all go in the tackle shop and you'd meet lads that you knew in there. Right. And even that kind of social side of it was nice. So I'd stand up there sometimes in Harefield Tackle, talking to Leanne and the boys, Jay and all that. I'll stand up there for half an hour just having a chat with them.
Yeah, catch up.
You know, because you're talking about fishing, you're talking about the lakes and stuff like that, and it's, you know...
That's what we used to do with newsagents. Does people remember newsagents? That's what you used to go and buy a paper in the morning. For your younger generation, you probably don't know what that is, because everything's online now. But you used to go to your local paper shop, newsagents.
I used to be a paper boy, mate.
Yeah, I did a little bit for the freebies. I got caught dumping them.
I was
very good, by the way.
In the October Gales in 87. Was it 87? With my brother on my BMX when all the trees were falling down.
Oh yeah,
and I was like,
storm.
Go on, get up, do your paper round.
trees are coming down. Like
that.
But mate, that was that was another form of community because you'd bump into neighbours, people down the road all getting your paper at the same time. How you doing, mate? How's things? How's your missus? How's the dog? That kind of thing. You'd know all the kids. Maybe if you're lucky, if you know a nice shopkeeper, you'd get like a little penny sweet free, or a little lollipop free. Yeah, them days are long gone now. There's supermarkets everywhere. Right, we're going to finish up on. I'm struggling. I'm not. I don't know anything about fishing. I've got a couple of mates who fish, and I want to get out. I want to kind of find out what it's all about. What's the best way to go about it? Get in touch with a mate who fishes, get in touch with the lakes, just find out if I can kind of have a walk about. Do you know what I mean?
I wouldn't advise just go straight into carp fishing.
Okay.
You can. I mean, you can go and buy a cheap setup from Harefield Tackle, and they'll sort you out. You go in there, they've got loads of little bits and bobs, and they'll sort you out what you need. And you can go and just do a little bit of canal fishing or a little pond somewhere and stuff like that, and then just build,
sorry, just to
your way
interrupt.
up.
Is there any rules to like? Can I just pop up at any canal, or do I have to have a
some of
license or permit?
Some
or
of it's
anything?
club.
Some of
Right.
it's club.
You'd have to do your
Okay.
research
Okay.
for that.
All right.
You'd have to have a look into it.
Yeah, I don't want to get anyone in trouble. Don't just pop up and start flying your rod out.
Ask your local tackle shop.
They'll know.
Ask them. Okay. They'll know, and they'll tell you. They'll advise you, or ring a lake up like me, and I'll try and help you out and tell you where the best place to go is.
I'll stick your link. This is Windsor Lakes, Ryan runs. So if anyone's got any questions or wants to message him, I'll put the link up underneath the video, so you can reach out to him. And hopefully, he's mate. If he's got time, he will get back to you and he will try and help you out as much as he can. Any advice? He probably won't be able to tell you how to catch bigger fish, but he will help you out. Well, I don't know. You can. There you go. He can give you tips on how to get bigger fish bigger. But thank you very much for Ryan joining me. I know he's a busy boy. He's come down. There you go, guys. Loads of tips. As I said, people from all different backgrounds, all different activities, doing different hobbies and sports that can all help us stay active and stay really good in our heads.
I can guarantee, if you go and try it, you'll have a completely different opinion about it. Yeah.
There you go.
But do it in the summer.
Yeah, wait till the weather gets better. Well, there's your challenge, guys. So those of you who think you might fancy a bit, go and have a try. And if you do have a try, drop me a message and let me know how it went, where you went, and if you go again. All right, thank you very much. Cheers, Ryan, for coming on.
No worries.
Thank you.
Top man.